Hello. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Kat Marie, and I have been a professional Dom for over 10 years, a little for more than 15, and a professional mommy Dom and member of the ABDL community for almost 3 years now. Throughout my time in the ABDL community, I have been a target of a group of individuals, most of which who are friends with each other, who have been viciously attacking me online. These attacks have come in various forms on social media platforms, in the form of name-calling, spreading false information and rumors, as well as directly contacting my followers and business associates to badmouth me with the intention of negatively impacting my business. Early on, I attempted to ignore these attacks, as they came in waves and appeared as though they would stop on their own. I had no interest in giving them the attention that they were clearly seeking and decided that my energy was better directed towards positivity. I realize now that it was a little naive to believe that these attacks would cease on their own. Recently, a member of the community who goes by the name of Riley Kilo has decided to join these attacks. In spite of never having met or ever interacted with Riley, she has decided to engage in what appears to be a very personal online smear campaign against me. Under the guise of community safety, Riley has taken it upon herself to pursue and collect negative information about me, including, but certainly not limited to, the rumors and false information that has been circulating throughout the community. During this process, Riley posted on her social media platforms, specifically soliciting the community for only negative information about me. On top of that, she blatantly ignored anyone contacting her with positive reviews and produced a YouTube video attacking my character. Riley's video series is essentially a gathering of screenshots containing false information and words that instantly put people on high alert, especially those with any trauma. Using words like predator and abuser, Riley has created quite the stir. Riley also exaggerates and claims that I support the use of illicit and illegal drugs at my events. I am here to tell you that the claims purported by Riley Kilo are completely false, and her video contains only hearsay, accusations, and false information, much of which, if not all, could have been verified as false and unreliable based on the evidence I'm about to show you in this video. Here in this video, I intend to address the rumored and false allegations against me, which are covered in Ms. Kilo's video. The biggest theme of Riley's claims is about a situation at a party at my playhouse in which a pocket knife was used to cut the ropes of someone who is engaging in consensual rope play. Before going into any further detail, I would like to point out that Riley is discussing information based on a statement that was posted on FetLife many years ago and was taken down by the author. The reason his account of the evening was removed is because a former play partner of this person submitted a testimonial of a play interaction with them in which he exhibited similar, unsafe behavior and drug use during a play session that mirrors his behavior at my party. Pause to read her testimonial here. It is very important to note that Riley was not at this play event, and neither was anyone who is accusing me of wrongdoing. None of them have firsthand knowledge of what occurred that evening. They are only repeating something that they'd read on a FetLife posting that was removed by the author. In this situation, a partygoer and their partner were engaging in rope play, where the top, who I refer to as V, began to engage in behavior that we considered careless and unsafe. V tied his partner to a chair with her hands behind her back and then proceeded to leave her unattended, while wandering throughout the party, acting erratically. This behavior was quickly noticed and brought to my attention by several party guests, and V was approached regarding his behavior. When approached, we informed V that his behavior was unsafe and then he needed to untie his rope bottom and leave the party, which he refused to do. After several attempts to get him to untie his rope bottom, my former partner used a small folding pocket knife to cut the bonds of the person who was tied up. Once the person was free, the knife was placed in his pocket and the two guests were escorted from the party. It was later brought to our attention that V was likely under the influence of prescription drugs that he had brought to the party and consumed without our knowledge. In the months following the party, V posted a very sensationalized version of the incident on FetLife, claiming he was threatened with a knife, that his bottom's consent was violated because she was cut free without her say-so. It is very important to note that V has removed his posting from FetLife completely. This can be verified by visiting his FetLife account. If Riley had visited his FetLife page, she would have discovered this. Suffice it to say, over the past year and a half, the story has been sensationalized in various ways, including claims that V was threatened or assaulted with a knife and that we encourage illicit drug use at our parties. Due to Riley's unwarranted and false account, multiple eyewitnesses, including an officer of the court, have submitted sworn statements that attest to the fact that no one was threatened or harmed with a knife in any way during this situation. I take safety and security at my playhouse extremely seriously, and we have not had any incidences since this time. Lastly, I do not promote or encourage the use of drugs at my parties for the safety of my guests. In the next false accusation that I will address relates to an individual who goes by the name of Anastasia St. Clair. Her first claim is that during a spanking party, her consent was violated. She suggests that she did not consent to a full force spanking and due to her job as a dancer could not show up to work with bruises. This spanking occurred February 19th, 2021 at a kinky strip club party that I had hosted at my house. This is where myself, Anastasia, and another girl engaged in consensual spanking play on our individual Chatterbait accounts, where we had 3 separate laptops to stream our mutual show. The night of February 19th, at the end of the event, I tweeted a thank you to all who attended the Kinky Strip Club event. On the 20th of February 2021, Anastasia retweeted that tweet, as well as posted a 20-second video clip of her bruised bottom with a caption that read, "Thank you, goddess," smiley face emoji. You can see that here. Per the screenshot, Anastasia explicitly thanked me the next day on a public social media post. At no point did Anastasia mention that there was any issue with consent, let alone anything relatively negative about her experience that night. I'm sure you all now understand my shock and confusion in light of all this now. With all that said, this now gives the community a great learning opportunity. As you know, I have been a professional dom and party host for years and have some tenure in this industry. Any dom or industry professional knows failure to obtain consent can result in criminal charges ranging from assault to sex crimes. Otherwise, post the hashtag #MeToo, people do not last long in this industry with these problems. This is exactly why my events are structured in such a way that they are and have been able to continue across multiple decades. Remember, consent is a two-way street. Short of having someone sign a written consent form before every spanking, we have conversations, regularly check in verbally after the fact, and there are both ample security and witnesses at all of my events. If there are no signs of an issue of consent, let alone any negative experience, and someone continues to tell me thank you, excitedly brag about what happened, and then when I'm checking in with them, none of that is communicated. Myself, let alone any dom, doesn't have any reason to know that there is an issue. This is why I emphasize to my clients and partygoers that you need to communicate with me and the other person when you are engaging in play. We have safe words, we have conversations before and after the event. These are the tools available to a professional like myself and what we have to work with. You all have no idea how much it breaks my heart to hear or even think that anyone at any of my events or while engaged in play with me are saying that they did not give consent. I try to go above and beyond, so I'm just not sure what else could be done here. For even further context, The following month, Anastasia continued to attend parties and events after this alleged incident where her consent was violated. On March 19, 2021, she not only attended another event at the Playhouse, but actively participated in a KY wrestling match. I have numerous photos, as well as video footage, that place her at this event as a participant in the wrestling match. You can see that here. She appears enthusiastic, happy, and engaged the entire time. Anastasia informed Riley that she did not consent to play at a glory hole party hosted at my house on March 27, 2021. At this party, witnesses saw and heard Anastasia enthusiastically jump in on an opportunity to engage in decorative shibari art by my house rigger. In addition to rope play, witnesses, myself included, remember Anastasia being asked if she would like to join me for consensual oral sex at my party glory hole. Anastasia said yes and came out of the glory hole happily, per witnesses. There was never any sign of distress, disinterest, or communication of that nature. When we spoke after the event, nothing was mentioned either. Again, my play parties are staffed to monitor for improper behavior and to ensure that my play spaces remain safe and welcoming to all. This is especially true for the glory hole. I have backroom staff in the play areas as well as in my dungeon that are monitoring for any signs of distress or non-consensual play, as well as staff in the main room for the same purpose. I have multiple eyewitnesses that will verify in sworn statements that Anastasia was by no means forced, coerced, or otherwise manipulated in any way to engage in any play that night. Eyewitness statements aren't the only verification that there was no sign of non-consensual play of any sort or sexual predation or abuse by me towards Anastasia. For example, the very next day, after the glory hole party on March 28th, Anastasia attended a Littles event at my playhouse and sent out 2 separate tweets regarding her experiences at my events. Tweet number 1. It reads, "Got a little rope action at Goddess Cat's glory hole party last night. If you are local to Colorado and interested in coming to see me at a private clubhouse, shoot me a DM." You can see that here. This tweet accompanied by pictures of Anastasia at the party in decorative rope shibari art. Tweet number 2 reads, "I got to make lots of new little friends today. It's so comforting getting involved with your local kink community. Even my stuffy Samuel made a new best friend. Hee, his name is Ralph." You can see that tweet here. This tweet was accompanied by a picture of Anastasia sitting in a crib in my playhouse. When someone describes these events as comfortable, I want to take them at their word and believe that they are being honest. I didn't think that Anastasia was a liar and had no reason to back then. Again, this breaks my heart. In addition to the March 28, 2021 Littles event, Anastasia attended 2 more events at my house. The first was a Littles Easter egg hunt hosted on April 3, 2021. And the second was another kinky strip club event on April 17, 2021. Multiple pictures place her at these events, and quite happily, too. You can see here, this photo is a screen grab of Anastasia sitting in the crib at my house, and here I have multiple pictures placing her at this kinky strip club event, long after she claims that her consent was violated. Anastasia's last appearance at my house was for a 420 Chatterbait webcam show where everyone sat in the RV smoking cannabis for the holiday. This is an event where Anastasia was secretly recording audio of the event. We have a copy of the video taken on her cell phone, and mostly it shows the roof of the RV. You can listen to that here. The purpose of her recording is not abundantly clear to me. However, I do believe that she was trying to capture the opinions of my ex-partner on video, audio. Moreover, while I am glad that she had the cell phone camera pointed at the ceiling, Non-consensual recordings at my events, let alone secret recordings, are not allowed. My events are comfortable, as Anastasia described, in part because I protect the sexual privacy of those who attend. Revenge porn, secret recordings of persons' intimate parts, or sextortion are ethically deplorable and is a crime. I have only seen this one video taken by Anastasia and do not know if there are more secret video recordings, let alone any that show some persons in some sort of intimate and vulnerable state. Colorado law states that a person who knowingly observes or takes a photograph of another person's intimate parts, as defined in Section 18.3.401, without that person's consent, in a situation where this person is observed or photographed, has reasonable expectation of privacy, commits criminal invasion of that privacy. And although there are people present at my events, they do not expect non-consensual pictures to be taken, especially as this was within my own home. Anastasia recording others during a Chatterbait webcam event in the RV is a huge violation of trust in the BDSM and kink community, especially due to the potential legal ramifications and criminal exposure. This is never acceptable. With that said, the timeline that I have just presented to you regarding the dates of my parties is verifiable on FetLife, where I have a full chronological record of all the parties that I have hosted. As you can see from both the timeline and the photographic evidence and date timestamps on Anastasia's tweets, not only can I definitively place her at each event, it also illustrates the inconsistency between her behavior and the claims about what happened. In the play situations involving Anastasia, she did not provide any indication that she was not consenting, nor did she show any signs of distress that were non-consensual. I understand that it has been suggested that individuals can fake their way through consent at the moment, and while I do believe that to be true, I do not believe that to be true in this situation. Especially since, in the months passing between these events, as well as beyond the moment where I spoke with her regularly, not once was there a sign again that there had been any issue with consent or her desire to engage in play. I have asked myself over and over again if there are any signs that I did not see, any red flags that I may have missed, or any indication that Anastasia did not consent. I've sought guidance from other professionals as well. No one has been able to arrive at any conclusion that even a shred of negativity of non-consent was present in Anastasia's actions, communications, or body language. It just boggles my mind that she would even continue to tell people that my events were comfortable and encourage them to attend for months after, publicly thanking me for the bruises and play. If there was anything else within reason that could have been done, I would have done it, to protect Anastasia as I do with all of my guests. My conclusion can only be that this is a matter of jumping on a bandwagon. The next false accusation that I would like to talk about comes from an individual who goes by the name of Chloe, and she joined in on Riley's video, claiming that she was drugged without her knowledge, and both that my ex and I harassed her after the deal between AB Dreams and I fell through. I met Chloe January of 2020, and she attended several social events at my playhouse throughout that year. You can see that here. During that same period of time, I was engaged in discussions with AB Dreams about setting up a permanent filming location here in Denver. Over the course of 6 months, Chloe and I developed what I would call a friendship. Around July 2020, Chloe came to me claiming that she was in a bad living situation, in the midst of a breakup with her significant other at the time. Feeling for Chloe and wanting her to be safe, we offered Chloe a place to stay to get her out of her living situation, which she accepted, and we even helped her move out of the place that she was staying, and this included renting a U-Haul at my expense. When we went to help Chloe move her stuff out of her current residence, her then housemates did not want to let Chloe in the house and seemed very caught off guard by the situation. This started a small verbal altercation. To make a long story short, the police showed up because one of Chloe's then housemates called them when the other housemate was refusing to let her in to get her possessions. The situation culminated in the police allowing us to enter the home and remove Chloe's belongings. In fact, her then housemates actually proceeded to help us in moving her stuff out and loading the truck. Over the years, this situation has been sensationalized, with particular emphasis on the police involvement. While it is true that the police were there was no physical confrontation. Per the incident report, not criminal report, no one was arrested, warned, or otherwise given a ticket from a citation from the police. An incident report refers to a call, police response, where no crime has been committed. A police report is for a call and police response where a crime was committed and a police action, such as an arrest or a ticket, has been issued. A clip from Chloe's video with the statements I mentioned above can be seen here.
And her partner eventually went with me to move my stuff out of this house. There was an altercation. From what I remember, there wasn't any physical contact. I couldn't miss it, didn't see it. Like, I'm not sure, but I don't remember there being physical contact or like a physical alteration. Uh, I remember a lot of yelling. A lot of yelling.
After all of this, Chloe moved into my home for a period of about 2 weeks in the middle of July 2020. This was right around the time I had begun to finalize the deal with AV Dreams, which included leasing the house directly next door. After Chloe moved in, and in light of her financial situation, I suggested that she be concluded with the deal with AV Dreams, as she needed a place to stay and could assist in the day-to-day upkeep of the filming space. Everyone was very excited about this deal and thought it would be good for everyone involved. Chloe had previously represented that she had no ability to afford the rent on her own and was stoked about having a place to live at a fraction of the cost of the full rent. All of that was required of Chloe to pay half of the cost of the rent to have the entire home to herself, short of the occasional video and photo shoots, was keeping the filming space in good condition and helping set up. Friends who heard about this thought it was a steal and the chance of a lifetime. Chloe herself was very excited. Over the course of the next couple months, I worked with Chloe to furnish the home and create the filming spaces. Unfortunately, this is where most of the conflict in this situation arose. Chloe was interested in duplicating props and filming spaces that I already had in my home. Since this was a joint effort between myself and AV Dreams, it just wasn't necessary to duplicate spaces. As such, she became increasingly frustrated over not being able to make decisions and believed that I was micromanaging her. However, AV Dreams, who was making her situation possible, already had these spaces in my home for filming, and there was no need to spend money duplicating them when we needed other settings. During this time, I received messages from AV Dreams asking why Chloe was not returning their phone calls. AV Dreams was growing frustrated, to say the least. This prompted me to go next door and speak with Chloe, which she found to be offensive. She has since then claimed that this was part of the harassment that I had engaged in with her. It was at this time that she engaged in a back and forth conversation with AV Dreams about not wanting to be told what to do by me. This was also the same time where she attempted to undermine my business deal, insisting that she had more experience with AVDL and that AV Dreams should work with her alone. Chloe has claimed on several occasions that this is not how it happened. However, we have the entire conversation between her and AV Dreams from this period, as well as a sworn statement from AV Dreams confirming this fact and the reasons they ended up backing out of the deal. Per text conversations and affidavit, AV Dreams backed out of the deal due to Chloe's involvement, citing her immaturity and her intention to have me removed from the deal. But also the fact around this time, they found out about her involvement in the creation of AVDL content while she was underage, a fact that she does not deny. All of these text conversations can be read here. These two screenshots are from a text conversation between Chloe and AV Dreams. AV Dreams is explaining to Chloe that they will not be working with her, in part due to her intentional past choice to engage in underage content creation. She explains to AV Dreams that she was being groomed and that she did not know any better. Quote, "No matter if you believe me or not, I did not know that I was being coerced to do wrong." However, when she was previously called out for lying about being involved in kink as a minor, her reaction was far, far different, as you can see here. Quote, "Anyone who bought my content knew I was 17, and yes, people have figured it out." In one instance, Chloe is losing out on a business deal and claims that she was being groomed and didn't know any better. However, in another explanation of being involved in kink underage, she makes no mention of being groomed or coerced. Rather, her attitude comes off as almost flippant, without any remorse for her actions or association with it being traumatic, regretful, illegal, or problematic. Indeed, she does go on to tell people to essentially not lecture her about her actions. The content made by Chloe is in all legalities and technical means child pornography. While I'm sensitive to anyone's situation regarding grooming and sexual coercion, I just don't know what to read of Chloe here. If she was in fact coerced and groomed to make these videos, the sheer fact that she was 17 years old gives her the right to report these individuals for their hand in creating child pornography. However, although Chloe was a minor, depending on the knowledge and intention she had behind creating her own underage content, it could be a federal violation related to peddling child porn or delinquency at a minimum. Don't believe me? Check out the Harvard Law Review, State versus Gray, from 2018, here. AV Dreams cannot and will not be associated with the intentional creation of profiting and peddling pornography of minors. I cannot fault them, and I stand by them for their decision. I truly hope that Chloe will report these people who supposedly groomed her to make this content and hold them accountable in a court of law to ensure that her child pornography disappears into the void thanks to the feds. That's the only way that we can make our scenes safer from predators and send a message that this will never be acceptable or tolerated. After the deal was dissolved with AV Dreams and they executed their option to terminate their involvement in the lease next door, Chloe expressed her frustration about the situation and indicated that she was on the verge of being housing insecure. This is memorialized in this screenshot that you can review for yourself here. But in Chloe's video about me and the AV Dreams fallout, she explicitly states that she intentionally lied to me about her ability to afford the rent, stating it was a very wise decision in the long run.
During this time, she did ask me if I could afford the rent on my own, and I did not want her to know how much money I made, so I told her no, which was a very smart move in the long run.
Chloe doesn't show an ounce of remorse and even gloats about the fact that she lied. This is a complete contradiction to the conversation that she had with AV Dreams. In her conversation with AV Dreams, she claims that she now has to scramble to find some sort of way to make rent and how disenfranchised she'll be with all the while making a profit off of her content. There was no reason for Chloe to lie. Your guess is as good as mine as why her accounts do not match up. Although in the past I have bowed out and tried to avoid drama, let alone revealing this information, the egregious accusations coming from Chloe and their implications of criminal misconduct force me to address the entire context in which all of this originates. Moreover, this context is necessary to help illustrate the disparity and inconsistencies in her accounts of the events. For example, Chloe claims the deal was supposed to be equal parts between the three of us. The deal was always between myself and AV Dreams. Chloe was allowed to be a part of the deal after I vouched for her and her representations about being a step away from the streets and recovering from a toxic household relationship. At no time was Chloe an equal part of the deal. In fact, per text message in this screenshot, AV Dreams themselves had to remind her several times that she was not an equal part of the deal. And you can check those out here. Chloe also represents that she was given LSD without her consent. I will say flat out that this allegation is completely false. As Chloe freely admits in her video on YouTube, she willingly took a marijuana edible as she was going through a difficult time with her breakup. It is absolutely false that the gummy she consumed was laced with LSD. Now, regarding the claims of harassment by me and my ex-partner, these again are completely false. These claims only arose after Chloe's behavior ended the AV Dreams deal. When the deal ended, AV Dreams exercised a clause in the lease that would allow them to cancel the lease within a certain time frame if the deal was not working out as expected. AV Dreams fully upheld their end of the bargain. It wasn't until AV Dreams backed out of the deal and canceled their portion of the lease that any of the claims of harassment arose. To be clear, in no way, shape, or form was she harassed by myself or my former partner. The full picture of this situation is best painted in the conversation between Chloe and AV Dreams, where at times she spoke glowingly of me. You can see how her demeanor changed when she attempted to cut me out of my own deal. Chloe also claims that I lied about how I got into the community. I have never denied that it was Kiki who invited me to a DLC munch, and my original purpose was to meet her with the prospect of working together. However, when it was a DLC munch that I was invited to, I immediately jumped at the fact that I would have an opportunity to meet little friends, and instead of going as my big or mommy side, I decided to attend as kitten, with the purpose of meeting her for making content and making friends. I have never denied this. In addition to everything that we have discussed, Chloe also claims that we were trying to get squatters' rights to the house next door. This could not be any further from the truth. As a matter of fact, we contacted an attorney to successfully track down the owner in order to get her and AV Dreams into a lease to rent that house next door, which is hardly trying to squat in the house. I think it is important to remember that Chloe says that I asked her if she could afford the house on her own, and she responded, I didn't want her to know how much money I made, so I told her no, which was a very smart move in the long run, which you can see here. If she is able to lie about something so simple and so often, it makes you wonder how many other things are lies as well. She also says that I went to AV Dreams and said, I want to be above her. I want her to answer to me. Quoted in her video. This can be verified as a true lie, as per the screenshot here. Chloe also said that AV Dreams told her to play along with it. This can be proved as a lie here. Another point in Chloe's video where she tries to paint me in a bad light is saying that I stole money from someone who was helping me plan her birthday party. Now, while it is true that this individual that she is engaged with did help by sending money for her birthday party, our falling out happened in the middle of this. And this individual also knew that I was going to continue on and throw the event anyway, and told me to put it towards your event and make it a great one. This is not how Chloe wants you to believe that this went down, however. Chloe also claims that I contradicted myself with my online practices. There is a big difference between her blocking people just because they follow or support me, and my decision to block people who are bad-mouthing and going a step above and beyond to engage in toxic behavior. My social media is filtered by my team to remove anyone who is bad-mouthing, gossiping, or otherwise just being negative, to protect my heart from all of the hate and drama that has been created from these girls. That is not the same as telling your followers, if you follow Kat, I will block you. That can be proven here. It has been said that I am still profiting off of content that has to do with Anastasia, Chloe, and Kiki. That can be proved completely false just by going through any of my social media platforms. However, Chloe claims that she removed all content that has anything to do with me, and that can be proven false here. She also says that I lied about drinks at my party, and I served drinks from beginning to end, which is essentially true. Anyone who is not engaging in play is welcome as an adult to have a drink. My parties are BYOB. However, my staff makes sure that once a drink is served, you are not allowed to engage in any kink play. All negotiations for scenes at my party are done in front of me, and my staff keeps track of who drinks and who does not. So, while this story is being spun in a very bad light, it's not entirely true. Chloe also claims that I lied about the state of the house next door after she moved out, saying that it wasn't messy, and even has one of her friends confirm this, saying that they saw the state of the house when picking up furniture. However, my ex-partner and I literally spoke with the landlords as they were cleaning up dirty diapers in the garage, looking very annoyed. This also coincides with part of Avi Dream's testimonial about things that they found out about Chloe leading up to them making the decision to back out of their deal. This can be seen here. And I quote, "As I learned more about Chloe's previous living situations and speaking with people who knew her personally, I found out that she has a pattern of being really inconsiderate and a messy roommate, leaving used diapers and other age playthings around the house, even when other roommates are not ABDL, leaving a previous house that was paid for by her former sugar daddy a total mess, until reaching the point where he didn't want to be continued paying for it anymore, at which point she tells people she didn't do anything." Chloe also claims that her landlords were scared for her safety. I have no idea what she is referring to, as I have kept in contact with these individuals and seen them many, many months after she had moved out. Chloe also claims that we harassed her by being outside whenever she was. This is a stretch of the truth. My ex-partner and I are RC enthusiasts, and all of the landscaping around the front of our house is an RC track. We spent a lot of time standing, playing, and enjoying our hobby. This was spun to be harassment because every time Chloe left her house, she would speed past us and squeal her tires. You can see pictures of our RC track here. RC cars are a big hobby for my ex-partner and I, and we've spent countless hours in our front yard in the months prior and after Chloe's departure. Now, Chloe claims that I have doxed her. Let's define doxing. Using someone's legal name with those who know her in a private setting is not doxing, as those persons already know her identity, and it is in the private, away from people who do not know her. Her name was only used in a private conversation with a mutual friend who already knew her. It was not shared publicly or used maliciously, and that is not doxing. Chloe shows a text from Anastasia claiming that I was harassing and trying to scare her on multiple occasions. This is a complete lie, but I don't put it past someone to spin things that have been said in this way, especially after what has been said on a much higher level. The final claim that I'm going to address is in relation to an individual that goes by the name of Danny 2x4. I was engaged in a conversation with Danny regarding an idea that she would submit to me for content creation. Danny claims that she was scammed by me, implying that there was some sort of financial loss involved in our interaction. Danny did in fact, submit a content idea to me, and our agreement was that I would compensate her with exposure, letting everyone know whose idea it was, including shouting out her work on various media platforms when the idea was used to create content. It was made clear at the time that there was no guarantee that the idea would be made into content. After the idea was submitted, I put it into my rainy day pile, which is an offer that I extend to clients who cannot afford custom content, with no guarantee that the idea will be created, but if it is, that they would get the video for free. After she gave me her idea, I put it in this rainy day pile where I keep these ideas that I may make in the future. However, I did not end up making her idea into content to this day. Over the course of several months, Danny was very persistent in messaging me regarding the content creation related to her idea. And at that point, I told Danny that I would not be making her idea into a video. Our interaction ended rather bitterly shortly after that. Recently, Danny has been very public with her claims that she was scammed, and has even reached out to my business associates at AV Dreams to inform them that they were working with a scammer. AV Dreams has shared screenshots of their conversation with Danny where she openly admits that the agreement she had made in regarding her idea was contingent on me making it into content. There was no guarantee that I would create the content with this idea, and Danny admits that she understood that if the content was not created, she would not be compensated in the form of advertising on social media. You can read all of that here. As you can see in the screenshots, Danny writes, she offered to pay with exposure, which if she never makes it, I don't get paid. Admittedly, I shouldn't have agreed to it, but at the time, I wasn't as confident in my work. Per the screenshot, Danny admits the actual scenario. I could not have scammed her based on the facts above. It absolutely breaks my heart that I have to go to such lengths to prove my innocence. I am sincerely disappointed that these individuals found it necessary to spread this false information, or heavily omitted key information and facts throughout the community. These accusations are very serious and harmful, not just to me personally, but to the community as a whole. It is far too easy for individuals to make outlandish claims, and our current climate on social media all too often sides with the sensationalized clickbait. I am here to say that enough is enough, and that I am tired of the bullying and toxicity in this community. It all too often goes unchecked. I will no longer sit idly by while a complete stranger conspires against me with others to spread false information and rumors to drag my name through the mud. This type of behavior has gone on for far too long, and I am taking a stand not only for myself, but also so that other members of this community do not have to endure this abuse. Take it however you will, but Riley intentionally solicited only negative information about me. Her efforts to ensure the validity of the information are unknown and highly questionable. Time after time, she has said that not everything requires proof. Unfortunately, when defending yourself, it does take proof, and I have provided a mountain of it. Riley has publicly stated in her video that this was not a call to action on a number of occasions, and has stated that it was her final word on the matter. She presents herself as being an advocate and simply providing truthful reporting on a controversy. However, she was very active in both posting and responding to comments on various social media platforms, as well as deliberately privately messaging my business contacts, connections on FetLife, party RSVPs, Instagram followers, and other platform members. She sent these private messages with the intent to damage my reputation and negatively impact my business in this community. Her claims of her video being a public service announcement for the community is undermined by her direct and explicit efforts to cancel my contracts, destroy my business, and ruin relationships with people in the community. I've seen these messages myself and have been sent behind the scenes, and now you can too. Check them out here. Riley and her behavior has been nothing but harmful to the ABDL community. Her video and campaign against me is directly responsible for community members reporting kinky dreams, which resulted in the freezing of their account on Etsy, among other problems. Even worse, innocent diaper businesses with no affiliation have become targets of this online smear campaign because of that, forcing them into the same fate. Look, we already have a public perception problem in this community. They think we're a bunch of pedophiles in sheep's clothing and full of predators. Who doesn't know about the court battle that my inner baby is having to fight right now in Indiana just to keep their doors open and prove that this is not a community with more nefarious purposes to groom and target minors? This is non-sexual aspect of ABDL is something we are always working to convince the public of. What would the casual observer think about our community if Riley's video is the first one that they saw related to ABDL? Our community is already unfairly branded with words like sick, perverse, pedophilic, abuse, predator. Words that Riley so casually uses about other members of our community. Riley, despite her altruistic claims that she needed to be a voice, has made a career of bringing negative attention to our community through her My Strange Addiction episode, where she refers to ABDL as an addiction. She also intentionally exposed a non-consenting vanilla friend to ABDL. Indeed, on Reddit, she refers to it as a minor success and a manageable failure. My situation is also not the first time that Riley's videos have led to unwarranted attacks on various members of our community. Babysitter Becky was after me and is now one of her latest target and victims, along with another member of our community. Her strategy is to send an attacking message and then block before the other person can block her or respond. See example here. This is in contradiction with Riley's representation that she is some sort of journalist for the alternative media, as she sometimes refers to herself, with integrity as an advocate for the most at risk. One of the first rules of sourced journalism is that anonymous sources must know facts, not just offer opinions. Another basic rule of journalism is that a reporter should understand when they are being used for propaganda. Furthermore, National Public Radio says the following about verifying accounts from these sources. Before we rely on information from anonymous sources, we press them hard on exactly what they know and how they know it. Finish reading here. Riley's videos, within the scope of SPJ, Journalist Code of Ethics, and NPR's online policies, do not seem to jive with good journalism practices. She chooses to use quotes from anonymous sources she pulled off of the web and provides no coverage on motivation of the persons making these claims or the other information. To add insult to injury, Riley only solicited negative information and failed to address or mention the numerous communications from witnesses and third parties contesting those claims. I can't speak for Riley's motivations or the other individuals who provided her support for her videos. Maybe she was taken for a ride by people with other motivations. Maybe this was just bad journalism on her part with no ill intention. It's hard for me to say without being inside her head or having a direct statement from her. However, after I was featured by Vice in a documentary, Riley publicly voiced her disappointment with the media platform and turned on them. Following this, she quickly got to work soliciting negative information and putting together her videos. Again, ignoring all accounts to the contrary and brushing them aside, showing clear preference and bias for the story that she wanted to write, not for the truth. Take this as you will, and please, make your own decision. I know this is a long video, but thank you all so much for sitting through and taking the time to review evidence with me and learn the other side of these events. My hope is that this can bring the AVDL community together as we stand up against the online bullying that has become the status quo and stop it before it escalates to criminal online harassment and wrongfully placed online vigilante justice that results in someone getting hurt or worse, because they were mistaken for a predator or an abuser. Moving forward, I will continue to stand up for myself as well as others who find themselves the target of this awful behavior in the community, and rest assured, this is not my final word on this matter. And please remember, my DMs are always open for anyone else who has been harassed by Riley Kilo. Please keep your screenshots and pass them along. The truth always has a way of coming to light in the end. And please, spread love, not lies. Thank you. I know I have presented a massive amount of information in response to the false accusations that have been leveled against me. I appreciate all of you that have taken the time to watch this video, and I hope that you will walk away with a much more informed perspective of this situation. It truly disheartens me that anyone would be willing to go to these lengths to try and tarnish my character. Sadly, I fully expect their stories to evolve and change, as they have throughout this entire situation when the truth has been brought to light. In the interest of continuing to take a stand against online bullying and internet harassment, I am asking anyone that has received communications from anyone bad-mouthing me to please share them via private direct message. As you can tell, screenshots are crucial in bringing the truth to light, and I want to continue to expose these individuals for who they really are. In addition, if anyone has been targeted, bullied, or otherwise harassed by Riley, Lolly, Anastasia, Chloe, or any of the other individuals who are associated with this toxic group of people, I encourage you to reach out and share your story via private message. Please rest assured that all efforts will be made to protect your identity, as we have heard multiple rumors that members associated with their group have threatened to dox people to keep them quiet. Enough is enough. With love, Goddess Cat Marie.